Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles for you. The first one here is off of BizPac, and it says, House staffers in security probe allegedly kept stepmom in captivity to access offshore cash. Congressional staffers allegedly held their stepmother in captivity with violent threats and a plan to use her to access money stashed away in the Middle East. The staffers are suspected of using their positions to enrich themselves. Days before, U.S. Capitol Police told House members 3 Pakistani brothers who ran their computer networks may have stolen congressional data. Their stepmother called Fairfax County, Virginia police to say the Democratic staffers were keeping her from her husband's deathbed. A relative described the woman's life as being completely controlled by the brothers for months while they schemed to take their father's life insurance. The brothers, whose IT professionals for Congress could read House members' emails, allegedly used wiretapping devices on their own stepmother and threatened to abduct loved ones in Pakistan if she didn't give them access to money stowed away in that country. On February the 2nd, House officials banned Imran, Abid, and Jamal Awan from the House of Representatives network as part of a Capitol Police criminal investigation into House computer security. But longtime employers including Representatives Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Gregory Meeks, have stood by them. Meeks of New York said although they had access to his data, he'd seen no evidence that they were doing anything that was nefarious, like steal or hack or being unfairly picked on for being Muslim. But a Fairfax police report obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation investigative group says that investigation on Thursday, January the 5th at 2 p.m., Samani Galini, after her stepchildren were denying her access to her husband of 8 years, Mohammed Shah, who is currently hospitalized, and police responded to Springfield's home she shared with him. I made contact with her stepson, Abid, who responded to location and was obviously upset with the situation. He stated he has full power of attorney over his father and produced an unsigned, undated document as proof. Officers wrote he refused to disclose his father's location. The father died days later, with his children denying him a final moment with his loved one, and the body was taken to Pakistan, where the family has significant assets. Galani was shocked to learn that his death certificate listed him as divorced, according to a relative of Galani's. The relative spoke only on condition of anonymity. They kept their stepmother in sort of illegal captivity from October 16th of 2016 to February the 2nd, the relative said, telling her they were in charge of her life and she was not allowed to speak to anyone. The fact that she did not speak English made it easy for them to take advantage of her. As Shaw laid hospitalized, they would not let the father communicate with the wife. They would say he'd been meeting her when they said so. The brothers bugged her house with hidden listening devices and told her movements were under constant surveillance, and conversations with the house and over the telephone were being listened to. They would repeat what she had told people to prove that they were really listening. This happened in United States of America. Can you believe it? The relative said. Galani obtained a secret cell phone and stood in the yard to communicate with relatives who encouraged her to call police, the relative said. After she did, Abid threatened her very severely, made her fearful. They told her they are going to abduct or kidnap her family back in Pakistan, and she had to apologize. Tried to manipulate her. She said to him, if you say you are my son, then why are you keeping my phone conversations listened to? So he said he would remove the devices. He came into the house, and she saw him remove a couple, including under the kitchen counter. But soon as Shaw passed away, and they came into the house, and whatever documents were there, they stole a couple laptops, which were the father's property, and left for Pakistan. Then Imran called and demanded that Gilani give him power of attorney, this time a Pakistani version, for assets in his father's name there, instructing Jamal to take her to Pakistani embassy in Washington, the relative said. He sent a couple of people to pressure her. Gilani learned from a life insurance executive that a few days before the father's death, the beneficiary was changed and Abid became the beneficiary, the relative said. On top of that, the Springfield house where she lived would go to Abid. Gilani fled from the brothers and has filed a second police complaint over insurance fraud and other abuses. Abid did not return a request for comment from the DCNF. The relative is coming forward because members of Congress have attempted to downplay the brothers' potential crimes and limited the investigation to Capitol Police, who lack the ability to investigate breaches and international crimes, and despite naming the brothers as suspects, have not even arrested them. I am fighting to protect the country. These are very bad people. Politico reported that Imran and his wife, Hina Alvi, are personal friends with Wasserman Schultz, who presided over Democratic National Committee when it was subject to an email hack that she angrily blamed on Russians. She has refused to fire Imran, even though he is banned from House Network, and has circumvented the ban by having him serve as an advisor. Imran began working for her in 2005, and soon after, his two brothers and two of their wives all appeared on the congressional payroll, collecting more than $4 million from Congress. The brothers had numerous additional sources of income, all of which seemed to disappear while they were supposedly working for the House. The brothers were running a car dealership full-time that didn't pay its vendors, and after one, Raul Abbas, threatened to sue them, he began receiving a paycheck from Representative Theodore Deutsch, who, like Wasserman Schultz, represents Florida. While they were working for the House, members, including member of Homeland Security and Foreign Affairs committees, the dealership took and never repaid a $100,000 loan from Dr. Ali Al-Attar, who is a fugitive from the U.S. authorities and has been linked to Hezbollah. Lord have mercy. Every time I read an article on these people, it just gets a little bit more bizarre. Wow. The next one that I got for you is off of BizPack Review. What's this? Suspect in House IT security probe also had access to DNC emails. Does this name sound familiar? Imran Awan, the lead suspect in a criminal probe into breach of a House of Representatives information security systems, possessed the password to an iPad used by then Democratic National Committee chairperson Debbie Wasserman Schultz when DNC emails were given to WikiLeaks, the Daily Caller News Foundation investigative group has learned. Wasserman Schultz resigned the DNC post in the wake of WikiLeaks posting damaging internal emails, blaming the scandal on hacking by Russians. Maybe they were Pakistanis. Imran and his family members, all of whom work as IT professionals for members of Congress, were banned from the House network February 2nd of 2017 by the House Sergeant at Arms, but Wasserman Schultz has declined to fire him and circumvented the ban by having him advise her office. WikiLeaks emails show that although Imran was employed by her taxpayer-funded House, the Florida Democrats whirled an iPad mixed DNC House and campaign business, and Imran and that Imran was on call for it and on a first name basis with top DNC staff. Garrett Bonoski, deputy director of the DNC, wrote in a May 4th, 2016 email, Amy, I will call you shortly. I have to get this iPad thing figured out. Need to make sure I have her username and password. Assistant to the chair, Amy Kroll, who responded, I do not have access to her iPad password, but Imran does. Bonoski replied, just gave AK the cell phone for Imran. Noel responded, just spoke to Imran. Call me whenever GB, and I will update you. WikiLeaks began publishing July the 26th of 2016, 4,453 emails and 17,761 attachments from the top of the U.S. Democratic National Committee. The leaks come from the accounts of 7 key figures in the DNC. Past interim DNC chair Donna Brazile initially claimed after emails became public that they were fabricated, then switched explanations and said the Russians stole them. The FBI requested access to DNC's server to find who was responsible, but the DNC refused. FBI Director James Comey said, according to The Hill. Politico reported that New York Representative Gregory Meeks, and to a large extent Wasserman Schultz, are said to have a friendly personal relationship with Awan and his wife, according to authorities, set their sights on Awan investigating the existence of a secret server that was funneling congressional data off-site. They also suspect Imran of stealing money and equipment. Soon after he joined Wasserman Schultz's congressional payroll in 2005, 4 of his relatives and 1 of his friends began getting paid by House members. It is not clear whether ghost employees are part of the theft being investigated, but the family collected a combined $5 million. Over the last 6 years, the individuals in question worked for some 80 members of the Congress, and all Democrats, including members of the Homeland Security, Foreign Affairs, and Intelligence committees. They worked for multiple members at once, since the offices did not require full-time IT services. Spokesman David Dameron did not respond to questions about whether the stolen emails might have come from Imran. Dameron also declined to respond when asked if Wasserman Schultz has stronger evidence the theft was committed by a Russian. Computer security experts say the most common threat comes from someone abusing a position of trust, trusting the wrong person, or a perpetrator manipulating someone using social engineering to gain access. All such explanations defy the prevalent stereotypes of distant strangers using high-tech tricks. Politico reported that Meeks said he was hesitant to believe accusations against Alvi, Imran, Awan, and the 3 other staffers, saying their background as Muslim Americans, some with ties to Pakistan, could make them easy targets for false charges, Politico reported, adding that he did not see a smoking gun. Earlier this year, the brothers were accused of using high-tech listening devices against their own stepmom as part of a scheme to ensure that she didn't stop them from accessing money stashed in Pakistan under their father's name. A relative said they threatened to have the woman's loved ones in Pakistan kidnapped if she didn't give them power of attorney to access in their dying father's name. Their stepmom called the Fairfax County, Virginia police shortly before the Capitol Police disclosed the individuals as targets of the investigation. In a May 12, 2016 email that went out to Bonoski and other top DNC staff, Wasserman Schultz staffer Rosalind Kamar wrote, Pelosi is doing a closed-door meeting, no staff or anyone allowed. Caitlin, come to Rayburn room and get her iPad for Imran. As the IT employees who set up user accounts, they had super user privileges and could read any emails and files saved on the computers of House members' offices. While they were supposed to be working for the House, they were also running limited liability corporation called CIA, apparently a car dealership that racked up massive debts and fraud accusations. CIA took and never repaid a $100,000 loan from Dr. Ali al-Attar, an Iranian Iraqi who is a fugitive from U.S. authorities and has been linked to Hezbollah. Abid Awan filed for bankruptcy in 2012, listing $1 million in liabilities. Employers typically don't allow people with money problems to have access to sensitive information because the financial pressure can cause them to misuse it. Former Secretary of Labor Tom Perez was elected the DNC's new chair in February, along with Minnesota Democrat Ellison as his deputy. Neither Perez nor Ellison responded to a request for comment on what the House and DNC are doing to accurately assess whether the Awans stole the data. Next one, I can't make this stuff up. This is off of, get my eyes to work here. Looks like it's off of Breitbart. Yeah. Report says court documents show FBI used Best Buy Geek Squad to gather evidence. I swear I can't make this stuff up. It's long denied that the FBI took advantage of Best Buy's Geek Squad technicians to conduct surveillance on American citizens, but according to OC Weekly, recent unsealed court documents prove it really did happen. And let me try up a little bit bigger so I can actually see the type. I swear to God, my eyes get worse by the day. That's much better. In fact, according to these records, the FBI actually trained Best Buy employees in law enforcement tactics. Gave them lists of targeted individuals and actively encouraged computer repair technicians to search customers' computers for evidence. There has never been any question that computer technicians occasionally discover and report suspicious data, such as child pornography, to law enforcement. However, OC Weekly reports that more than a dozen summaries of FBI memoranda filed inside Orange County Ronald Reagan's federal courthouse, USA versus Mark Rittenmeyer, contradict the official line that such discoveries were always accidental. One agency communication about Geek Squad supervisor Justin Meade noted assignments have been reviewed and are appropriate for operation of this source. That the paid informant continues to provide valuable information on child pornography matters and has value due to his unique or potential access to FBI priority targets or intelligence responsive to FBI national and or local collection. Other records show how Meade's job gave him excellent and frequent access for several years to computers belonging to unwitting Best Buy customers, though agents considered him underutilized and wanted him tasked to search devices on a more constant basis. To enhance the Geek Squad's role as a tripwire for the agency, another FBI recorded voiced the opinion that agents should schedule regular meetings with Meade to ensure he is reporting. A February 27, 2008 agency document memorialized plans seeking the training of Geek Squad facility technicians designed to help them identify what type of files and or images would necessitate a call to the FBI. Best Buy officers stated as recently as January that there was no formal arrangement between the company and the FBI, but these unsealed court records describe the relationship. As OC Weekly puts it, FBI officials wrote of maintaining close relationships with Geek Squad management. Best Buy employees were actually thinking about writing special software just to help the FBI search their customers' computers even without probable cause. Wow. These records came to light because a gynecologist named Mark was charged with possessing child pornography after the Geek Squad discovered an image on his computer in the course of performing repairs Rittenmeyer paid for. Rittenmeyer's defense attorney, James Ridden, was charged with has charged the government with outrageous conduct, such as offering Best Buy employees a $500 bounty for discovering actionable evidence on customers' computers. There's also a complex technical issue involved in Rittenmeyer's case because of the offending image, which the OC Weekly notes might not even meet the technical definition of child pornography, was hidden in a region of the computer's data storage that is not normally accessible to users. Defendants in electronic pornography cases often argue with varying degrees of plausibility that images were planted on computers without their knowledge by pornographers who use hacking tools to store their illicit wares on machines of unsuspecting victims. In this case, prosecutors seem to have encountered difficulty proving that Rittenmeyer possessed the knowledge or software tools to hide illicit files in the allocation storage space on his computer. There is also court precedent for arguments that filed storage in such normally inaccessible sectors of a computer system cannot be legally proven to be knowing possessions of computer owner. The key contention of defense attorney Ridditt is that Geek Squad became a government entity due to its close relationship with the FBI, and therefore its employees' searches are warrantless government searches in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Reporter R. Scott Moxley claims the FBI agents became visibly angered over his continued coverage of the case at a pretrial hearing. The case raises issues about privacy and the government of use of informants. If a customer turns over their computer for repair, they do forfeit their expectance of privacy and their Fourth Amendment protection from unreasonable searches. And if an informant is paid, does it compromise their credibility or effectively convert them into an agent of the government? The Washington Post asks. As the Post observes, Rittenmeyer signed a standard Best Buy service order for his computer repairs that explicitly waived his right to invoke the Fourth Amendment. If any product containing child pornography was discovered on his computer and turned over to the authorities, hinge on the judge's view of relationship between the company's technicians and the FBI. The volume of emails describing close coordination is overwhelming, and many of them about ongoing direction from the Bureau of to the Geek Squad technicians. As the Washington Post puts it, the FBI cultivated 8 confidential human sources in Geek Squad over a 4-year period, with all of them receiving some payment. Tech Dirt speculates that money changing hands will cause legal problems for the FBI, since it changes the motivation from legal obligation to a chance to earn extra cash by digging around in files not essential to repair the work at hand. Can these searches be fairly described as private if the technicians are collecting payment from the government for their services? Furthermore, the FBI's effort to conceal the true nature of its relationship with Geek Squad may displease the judge. Tech Dirt notes defense attorney Ridditt has also accused FBI agents of lying to federal magistrate to obtain search warrants. At BGR wonders what the fallout for Best Buy might be, because customers are already conducting a huge exercise in trust by allowing corporate technicians to handle their computers. Some customers are likely to feel that Best Buy has seriously broken that trust by secretly teaming with the FBI to perform completely warrantless searches of customer computers with zero probability, cause, or reason to do so. Privacy anymore. Mercy sakes. This next one here is off of Rick Wells, and it says, Judge Napolitano not buying Pence's CIA denials that they are spying on Americans. So sometimes Vice President Mike Pence, for all of the accolades that are bestowed on him by conservatives and conservative groups, seems to drift back toward the establishment-like politician that is similar to so many of the also-rans from the last cycle and before, cut from standard globalist cookie cutter. His comments about Julian Assange are an example of that. A certain amount of tough talk is needed as political cover, and it may be relevant that is, try that again, and it may be relevant that it is him saying it and not the president. And they do need to be consistent with the respect for law and order theme of the administration. But whistleblowers are different from criminals, and much of what Mr. Assange has done serves Americans and other people all over the world in that capacity. He exposed the criminals within our government that should not be a crime. It is contradictory to oppose CIA wiretapping of president and at the same time condemn the person who alerted us to countless instances of that identical thing happening to all of us. That just doesn't add up. Was there some deceptive editing in that one break in Pence's statement? Could could the after break portion have been talking about going after CIA or whoever hacked the president, but Fox gave the appearance that he was still addressing WikiLeaks. Pence is coming on quite strongly in his treatment of someone who has done not just their campaign a great service, but the American people as well. Not only does prosecution seem like, oops, page jumped. There it goes. Pence is coming on quite strongly in his treatment of someone who has done not just their campaign a great service, but the American people as well. Not only does prosecution seem like an overreach to many Americans, many feel he should be pardoned and given the proper recognition for his service to our nation. What he's doing hasn't been easy, but it has been, in many regards, the right thing to do. It's also significant degree part of the reason he and Mr. Trump were able to win the White House. It's okay to show a little apprehension, Mr. Vice President. Julian Assange says, with very strong credibility, that his organization has a lot more information about what has been going on in the CIA cyber weapons program. He's giving manufacturers access to information about their products that the bad guys already have, blamed in parts on careless, reckless endangerment and associated loss of control over malware and other cyber devices by the CIA. That is yet another public service they are performing, one that CIA refuses to even acknowledge was needed. There's also rumors that CIA operatives are working inside many major companies to engineer backdoor access into their products, both knowingly and without the knowledge of the companies. Brett Baer asked the vice president, will the Trump administration pursue charges against the WikiLeaks founder? Pence takes the hard line for whatever reason and to whatever extent it is sincere, saying trafficking in national security information, as is alleged WikiLeaks has done here, is a very serious offense, he added. This president and his administration will take that very seriously and use the full force of the law and the resources of the United States to hold all of those to account that were involved. Seem to be appreciative of Mr. Assange's contributions. Baer notes that the FBI is hunting for their mole and that Pence also told him that there is no truth to the statements that the CIA is surveilling U.S. citizens, so much honest Mike image, as Judge Napolitano illustrates. Napolitano responds with, I don't think anybody in the intelligence community takes seriously these denials, basically saying that Pence is lying. Saying, I think the documents that they released, however they got them, so conclusively and unambiguously that they has been applying its tradecraft on Americans in the United States, even intimately in our homes. Napolitano says, we are one step away from totalitarianism when I'm in front of a microwave in my kitchen and they can hear what I'm talking about, and when they can use my cell phone as a recording device, whether it's in my pocket or on the front seat of my car. And I am happy that we know about this, because when a violation of constitutional liberties of this magnitude is going on in an organized way by the government, no matter what party controls it, the American people need to know. Baer asked, you don't buy the denials at all. It's that it's not happening, that there's a firm red line. Napoleano makes the enough said points stating, I don't buy the denials because my friends or friends in the intelligence community don't buy the denials. And there's some video on this if you want to watch that. And it says, thank you. Oh, well, that's, they're thanking us for reading their article. Okay. The next article we have here is off of Breitbart, and it says Representative Chavez subpoenas involved in Obama's Fast and Furious op. Let me get this all under control here. There we go. It says Utah Congressman Jason Chavez subpoenaed 2 agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, and Explosives, called the ATF, to appear before his committee in conjunction with the Obama administration's gun running program, Fast and Furious. Firearms from the former president's scheme were allegedly involved in the 2011 murder of Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent Jamie Zapata in Mexico. Chavez, who serves as chairman of the House Oversight Committee, issued the subpoenas after the 2 ATF agents failed to appear voluntarily before the committee. I'm tired of hearing from just Justice Department management. I want to hear from the people that actually are doing this, Chavez told Fox News. And there's some video in this one if you want to watch it. Wants to hear directly from ATF agent William Temple, special agent in charge of the Dallas Field Division, the associate director Ronald Turk. The hearing marks the first effort by Congress to reopen the investigation into President Obama's Fast and Furious gun trafficking scheme since he left office in January. ICE agent Zapata was killed by one of the guns involved in the program, and Special Agent Victor Avila was injured during the attack in Mexico. Following the attack on 2 ICE agents, Breitbart News reported, Agent Zapata's partner, Victor Avila, spoke out about the attack that left Agent Zapata dead and him wounded. His twin sister, Magdalena Avila Villalobos, spoke for him in the Univision special on Fast and Furious. Avila is so scared and hurt by the attack, he did not speak out until he knew he was in a secure location. No one knows for sure why Agent Zapata and Agent Avila, assigned to the U.S. Embassy, were asked to travel on Road 57, a road controlled by the Zeta cartel and extremely dangerous. They didn't even know why they were given the mission to retrieve electronic surveillance equipment. The urgency made it even more suspicious. Agent Zapata and Agent Avila met with American consulate agents in Monterrey and received 14 boxes of equipment. They did stop for something to eat on Road 57 before heading back to Mexico City. About half an hour after leaving the restaurant, they noticed 2 cars closely following them. Within seconds, the vehicles surrounded them, and 14 heavily armed men formed a circle around the car. Unfortunately, Agent Zapata put the car in park, which forced the doors to automatically open. Agent Avila said they thought their diplomatic plates would protect them, and they screamed they were American agents. The men didn't care and demanded them to exit the vehicle. The agents refused to leave the vehicle. They frantically tried to relock the doors, but instead, Agent Avila accidentally lowered his window. A rifle and a handgun came in through the small opening, and the man opened fire. Agent Avila pressed the emergency satellite button, but it did not work. He also tried to place an emergency call to the embassy, the Mexican capital, and the first post of the Regional Security Command. They told Avila a Mexican Federal Police helicopter would be there in 40 minutes. Wow. 90 bullets were fired. 5 hit Agent Zapata and 3 hit Agent Avila in his right leg. Agent Zapata turned to Agent Avila and said, I'm going to die. Agent Avila responded, no, you're not going to die. Be strong. Help is on the way. You're not going to die. Rescue helicopter, Agent Avila was informed Agent Zapata did, in fact, die. On Thursday, the two ATF officials failed to appear before the committee looking into the assault on the agents. ATF Acting Director Thomas Brandon, an Obama administration holdover appointed in 2015, claims he did not order the two ATF officials to skip the hearing, Fox News reported. However, he said he agreed with their decision to bypass the Oversight Committee's hearing. The failure of the two ATF officials to voluntarily appear before Congress sparked the issuance of a subpoena and sharp rebukes from both sides of the aisle. That puts us in kind of awkward position. We got the boss, okay, guys, you don't have to show up, and that sends a hell of a message. That's a problem. Elijah Cummings, Democrat of Maryland, the ranking Democrat on the committee, said. Chavez complained that the ATF continues to insist that his committee should not speak directly with the two officials. Assistant U.S. Attorney for Eastern District of Texas, John Kraft, also failed to appear. Chavez said his committee issued the invitation to Kraft late and that he would not be issuing a subpoena for him at this time. Fox News reported on an ATF Inspector General report that was completed in 2012 but not released until March 1st of 2016, Fox reported. The IG said the ATF were aware in 2010 that Azario and his brother might be trafficking firearms to Mexico, but they did not follow up or further investigate until after Zapata's death. Otilio Azario and Rindfleisch were arrested in late February of 2011 after the ATF confirmed weapons used in Zapata's murder had been purchased by them. The report faulted the ATF for its handling of the case, saying there was probable cause to arrest Azario and his brother after ATF witnessed the Azarios complete a transfer of 40 firearms on November the 9th of 2010. The IG said, overall, we found numerous problems with the ATF's assimilation concerning the suspects and the timelines of the ATF response to mounting evidence that they were committing firearms offenses. The report states that two weapons used in the murder of Agent Zapata and wounding of Agent Avila traced back to a Dallas area gun show purchase by Otilio Azario and a purchase by Robert Rindfleisch at a gun store in Beaumont, Texas. The report continues, stating the ATF suspected the two men were trafficking firearms to Mexico, but failed to further investigate the purchases under the murder of Agent Zapata. ATF agents eventually arrested the two men in connection with the purchases. Despite the length of time since the incident, the creation of the report and its issuance, ATF Inspector General told Chavez he was not prepared for the hearing. That's a bunch of crap, Chavez snapped at the ATF official. Chavez responded that he received a draft of the report in December. Murder of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. The murder of U.S. Border Patrol agent Brian Terry in December of 2010 is also connected to the Fast and Furious gun running scheme. Two guns involved in Fast and Furious were found at the scene of his murder. Terry and other members of his elite Border Patrol Born Star team engaged a group of Mexican bandits. The bandits opened fire. Terry was shot in the back and died before reaching the hospital. The Terry family met with then President candidate Donald Trump and several times during the campaign. In an exclusive interview with Breitbart, Texas, Terry family expressed hope that President Trump would get the answers their family has been searching for over the past 6 years. I want people to grow a conscience and come clean what was covered up and what the hell they were thinking, Terry's sister, Kelly Terry Willis, told Breitbart, Texas. She said she had heard many promises by many people. If Mr. Trump can get those skeletons out and expose the truth, then my family can finally get closure and justice for Brian, Kelly explained. A lot of people scared that just might happen. It may take time, and we will be patient, but the truth always reveals itself. I hope Trump can make that happen. On Friday, Terry's brother spoke out about the new hearing and the subpoenas issued to the two ATF officials. We have the House, Senate, and White House now, Kent Terry said. There should be absolutely no reason we should fail to get the answers and accountability for the deaths of Agent Zapata and my brother. Their mothers have been put through hell since these murders occurred. They deserve to know why their sons, who served every day, were killed by criminals armed by our government. Enough time has gone by, and exasperated Kent Terry explained. I respect their hands were tied with Obama administration executive privilege taken on the Fast and Furious documents. But why hasn't the Oversight Committee gone after the ATF agent who no longer works there? Why hasn't the committee asked why and who has been fired in connection with the program? The full report on the hearing held by the committee on March the 9th is available on the Oversight Committee's website. And there's a hyperlink you can click here to access that. It says the committee is expected to hear from the two ATF officials this month. So there you have all the information I have in this episode for you. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to let me know. Share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And that way you'll stay informed. See you in the next one.